Come on, guys.
We had no problem solving Macay's comments last season.
We should be a step ahead of them. You wanna go home?
Solve the comment puzzle. Draft punks.
This is Macay Cleland.
What do you want?
Are you solving my comments?
We're not even close to solving them.
You know that.
Then who's drafting SNC now?
There are no
Drafts.
It's over.
Then what do you want with me?
The numbers.
Have you forgotten what happened?
With the numbers.
I want to come in.
Okay. How do you want to do it?
I need someone I know to bring me in.
Who?
Beefy Jenkins.
Send him alone. Give him your phone.
What if I can't find him?
It's easy. He's standing right next to you.
Good evening, Draftaholics, and welcome to Draft Punks. I'm Sam.
And I'm Adrian.
And those of you that have been following us for a little while will be familiar with the Macay Supremacy. We have a certain purple M in our comments section that has been running
M is debatable.
No longer an M. That has been running some very deep games over the course of each set. And Adrian, would it be an understatement to say the Macay Supremacy 3 has blown everything else out of the water?
This is a new I wouldn't say a new high, but a new low from our good friend Macay. This is obviously the result of many months of planning, and we've been made fools of.
We have. This is completely ridiculous. So we're going to run you through the layers upon layers upon layers of depth that went into this monstrosity, and you can experience all of our pain without actually having to go through it yourselves.
Which is truly that's what it's all about. It's all about vicarious pain.
That's right. Okay, so those of you who've been watching every video, which I know is every one of you, because
Correct.
you are dedicated Draft Punks fans, will have noticed that every Macay comment has had a regular comment component, a little bit of poetry, and then something nestled between these two black dots, the as we've dubbed it, the spooky. So we've had this for all 10 weeks of the format. Now, normally at the end of the format, Macay gives us a clue, a nudge, something to like get us moving, but we got nothing. So we had to just
zero
put it all in a spreadsheet and see what we could find. So this is all of the comments, and this is Macay's profile picture at the end of it. The big exploding purple M resolved into a purple pie with a bit of a message here for us. We're not quite sure what that means yet, but we'll get to that. So, Adrian, where do we start?
Okay, so basically, what have we got to go with? And the answer is, okay, we could try completing the rhymes, but as you'll see later, it won't make a lot of sense. We can look through the comments, see a bit of a spelling mistake in each comment, which that's not going to get us much anywhere to start with firstly, but the most obvious clue, I guess, is the number pi. And So what did we end up doing with the number pi after much pulling out of hair, Sam?
Yeah. So your final brainwave was, let's put all the digits of pi in a column. So everybody knows that pi is 3.14159265358979323844626.
Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that. Put all of these in a column, and then look for the third word in the first video, the first word in the second video, and so on. And hey, look.
Oh, look, it's a sentence.
My spelling error remain, but now reference to a domain.
So what now?
So that's obviously pointing us to the spelling errors. So if we have a look through each comment, there's a capital B hanging out here. That's not how you spell aggression. There's a 1 hanging out in rights, and so on. Okay, so let's pull all of that out. Here's every word that was misspelled, which doesn't really get us anywhere. This doesn't form a sentence of any kind. Couldn't see anything here. So then we thought, okay, well, why don't we look for those individual characters? Because they look quite deliberate. You know, why a capital B? That seems quite strange. So pull out all the characters, and it didn't spell anything.
Ah.
But we were told might reference a domain. And Adrian, what does this look like to you?
That, to the keenly trained eye, looks like a YouTube video ID. And while we were doing it, and as you can see, because we didn't actually release 11 videos, video 10 kind of had 3 comments on the end of it. So for a moment, we were like, nah, it can't be a YouTube video ID, because we didn't have the E yet, and we tried to chuck in like everything from the B to the 2. It didn't work, and then only until we realized, oh, hang on a second, there's another misspelling, did we find the E. But if you whack that into YouTube, what do we get, Sam?
We get this.
Give the punks a prize. You have made it to the next level. I suppose this part of the puzzle probably wasn't too difficult for you, but you didn't think I would let it be that easy, did you? No. There's gonna be more. These upcoming challenges are most likely gonna bring you down an even deeper rabbit hole. You will need to reach into 4 dimensions in order to solve it. Do not desert any part of the puzzle, for each piece is necessary. Without further ado, here you go. To complete the point, you must connect the dots. To complete the line, you must run a rhyme. To complete the square, you must leave the circle. To complete the cube, you're going to have to restore what I have said, which was incredible before. And that's your puzzle, punks. I wish you good luck. Never would I have thought of doing this if it weren't for you guys, so thank you for all the good fun that this has caused. For now, I'm going to leave this puzzle up to you. I'm going to get this video edited so I can actually start commenting on your videos. It's been fun, punks. Hopefully I will see you around, and I'm really looking forward to the next video. Meep.
Okay, what the hell?
Okay, so what do we got? We have an unlisted video. An unlisted video that was produced many months ago. That also has some very clever little Blender renderings in it, Macay. Very well done. But, and some spooky clues.
So, here I was thinking that we'd cracked it. This was the end of the road. We'd solved it. But no. Welcome to the next level.
So we transcribed it. And this is sort of what Macay says.
So the bit that we want to focus on, I guess, are these four clues here. So we're going to go through these one at a time. So we think we know what the first few at least refer to. I'm going to skip the dots for the moment. You'll see why in a sec. Let's run a rhyme. Okay, well let's go back to the rhymes from.
Oh, also before we do that, so he said 4 dimensions, right? And so we've got 4 clues, starting with the 0th dimension being the point, the first dimension being a line, 2 dimensions being a square, and 3 dimensions being a cube. Very, very clever, Macay.
He's speaking to our mathematical sensibilities.
He is.
I'm not forgiving him though. Okay, so we thought going into this that we needed to figure out what word is supposed to go in the blanks. So my bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep. The more I give to thee.
Thee.
Okay, and we can kind of follow that process. Most of them are rhymes. Do you want to? I know you filled this in, Adrian. Do you want to kind of talk a bit?
Yeah. Some of them weren't really obvious. Some were quotes. Some were just sort of made up rhymes, or maybe they're all quotes and we just didn't quite find their sources. But also some of them were really sort of obtuse, and I didn't quite get them until sort of I got to reverse engineer them by having a structure that I could then fill the gaps with. Some of them were easy, like I give to thee, just be who you are. That's a quote, I think. For the 4th one, after, I don't think that was a quote, because it has the words beefcase in it. And that one just sort of rhymed after that's a Shakespeare quote. Canadian bacon, I mean, that sounds pretty good, eh? That's a classic Canadianism. Yeah, so some quotes, some famous quotes, some sort of fill in the gap with the vaguely obvious rhyme. I remember the one that was kind of hard was the second one. Didn't really figure out what it was until after I'd filled in most of the other ones, and then realized that that's got to be number. He's referencing numbers here because a whole bunch of other ones reference products and prime factors.
So the final message that we get out of this is the number you are after is a product of prime factors. Now, I was originally very annoyed at this because this provides...
Sam was like, every number is that.
Every number is a product of prime factors. Prime factor theorem tells us that. This provides no additional information until, I got to thinking a little more laterally.
Yeah, this one actually took us a while because we were looking at the clues and like, what the hell does he mean by the dots? Like, what do we mean by connect the dots?
Yeah, we tried things like look for every word that was connected to a full stop and try to string them together into a sentence, but that didn't work. We got pretty stuck on what this connect the dots thing referred to, and we didn't know what to do with the spooky.
Yeah, my initial thought was that it was a go at our puzzles. Like it was a potential solution to our puzzles.
Yeah, because the Neves in here was what clued us off. Well, I mean, to begin with, we actually thought this was a red herring, that this wasn't actually part of the puzzle, because Neves was our clue to our puzzle that week, and it got put in for Macay's thing. So we thought, there's no way this was pre-planned. It's probably just a red herring to distract us from whatever is the real thing. We eventually figured out that the dots.
The dots. I kicked myself when I noticed the dots, the black dots in between, which there was a little bit of the weirdness every week.
That's right. Now, the thing that we spent ages trying to figure out what this meant. and perhaps you can pause the video if you want to try and solve it yourself. I'll give you a moment to do that now. The thing that eventually clued me in was Jackson.
Yeah, that was the first one that really stood out.
Because what comes after Jackson? 5. So what other numbers can we attach? And 5 happens to be prime, and we know we're looking for prime numbers. So what other numbers can we attach to these? The poop emoji, that's just two words, so that can be a 2. This is 3 words, so that can be a 3. Jackson, 5. Neebs is obviously 7 backwards. Now, let me just express a moment of outrage here.
Yeah, you got hooked right up, Macay.
On the week you wanted to put a clue for 7, we just delivered you Neebs as the clue for our puzzle.
And it threw us off the whole way.
Absolutely outrageous. The planning that went into this is meticulous, but the luck to pull that off.
Massive luck.
Not impressed. So let's talk about this one. This was probably the hardest one in there. So we've got 2, 3, 5, 7.
So let's
primes.
quickly talk about the poop emoji. The poop emoji is the actual poop emoji in the comment if you look at the first video. And it took me a very long time to bring Sam around to the fact that it's not that it has 2 words in it. It's because you go do a poo, that's a number 2. You go number 2.
Which is probably the actual.
I'm convinced. It
Yeah.
has to be.
Yeah, that makes much more sense, doesn't it?
Second one, that one was a little less elegant as far as we were concerned because it just has 3 words in it. So we're like, okay, number 3.
Mm-hmm.
But a spear rose and fell on this day, and it impaled a man that many ways. This took us on a journey.
It did. So we got to Googling famous spears that had killed someone.
Yeah, we
Now
also landed on the Sentinelese Islanders.
Yeah, so before that, the first thing that we found, the most famous spear, is Operation Neptune Spear.
Oh,
Which is
that's right.
Which is the military operation that killed bin Laden.
So we're like, got him.
We've got it. And so we tried to use the date that bin Laden was killed. Unfortunately, I think it was May. No, not May. It was May 2nd, I think, just off the top of my head. The problem is, no matter whether you write the date in the American format or the rest of the world format, it's not prime. You either get 205 or 502.
Yes.
So I thought we had it on that, but that wasn't it. The next place we went, I was trying to think of famous instances of someone getting speared, and the only one I could think of was, I can't remember the name of the guy, but it was the Christian missionary who went to a remote island, home to a tribe that has not had contact with the rest of the world. And he went there on a mission to bring them Jesus. And as soon as he arrived, they went on a mission to bring him spear.
Bring him to Jesus, yeah.
Yeah. And he was impaled on the beach that he arrived on.
That many ways.
And it turned out that he arrived on the 17th.
Which we thought we were like, oh, damn, okay, we got this.
And we also noticed that the numbers go... let me just switch over to the solution slide here. So we did notice that the numbers were all going up. And so we knew that this one had to be between 7 and 227.
And I guess to peel back the veil, we got most of the other ones. We had to do this one last.
Yeah, this one was the hardest. You came upon the actual solution, though. What was the actual solution to this one?
So if you go back to the previous page, I was like, okay, none of them have a reference to any part of the comment or their poem, but I'm like, maybe this one does. And I was like, who got famously stabbed? And that would be Julius Caesar, which is the Shakespeare play that quote is from.
Yeah.
And Julius Caesar was very famously stabbed 23 times.
That's right.
Which happens to be a prime number. But then I was like, he wasn't stabbed by spears, though? He was
on this day,
knifed.
He wasn't stabbed on the 23rd.
And that's the funny part. He was stabbed on the Ides of March, which is very famously the 15th of March.
And we tried the 15th of March as well, but the resulting numbers weren't prime. So yeah, the only number that we could think that fit there was 23.
So if we go back, so we got this one late, and shamefully we had to ask for a little bit of help. But the other ones, Lester Jenkins, that one's kind of easy. And you might be thinking he's having a fun poking fun at our good friends, the Jenkinses, that show up from time to time in our videos. But if you Google Lester Jenkins, you see a character for a TV show that was popular in the 80s called 227. So that's pretty easy.
Also prime. Yep.
The next one, Boeing, pipe character, the rain descended, the flood came, and the winds blew. This one got us for a little bit, but
because Boeing was a pretty good clue that we were looking for 7-something-7.
Yes.
And we quickly rattled off all the ones that existed and then crossed off those that weren't prime, which I think just left us with 727 and 737.
And 787.
So we had a few to choose from. And then it was Adrian that cracked the code on the second bit.
Yes. Yeah, so if you Google that, and Bible translations being sort of as wacky and many as there are, if you Google that, you kind of get the hint that it's a Bible verse. And if you do a little bit more digging, you can find that it's actually one of the translations of Matthew chapter 7, verse 27, and you find basically that, and that pretty much solved it. 727, we found our seventh number.
That's it. Now, asteroid Murray, turns out, upon a bit of quick Googling, there is an asteroid that is named 941 Murray.
So that one was one of the easier ones.
941 is prime, so that one slotted in quite nicely. This last one was absurd. This was the point where I felt like we were just barking up trees and making connections where there weren't any connections. Like, yes, we're putting numbers with sayings, but it all feels a little bit wishy-washy. But this last one was messed up. Talk us through this.
Okay, so this one, we kind of got wrong at the start, but we were right all along, but for a funny reason. So I was like, oh, the movie, The Aviator, I reckon, and just it hit me like a bolt of lightning. I reckon if you take the runtime of The Aviator and subtract 1, it's probably prime. So I went onto Wikipedia, looked up The Aviator, looked at the runtime. Oh, cool, it's a number. Subtracted 1 from the seconds and got a number. It was not prime. And
except you first had to convert the runtime into seconds.
First had to convert the runtime into seconds, yep. Which is often multiplying the minutes by 60. And so on Wikipedia, the runtime is stated as 170 minutes. And if you times that by 60 and subtract by 1, you do not get the number you see before you. You get a number that is commonly known as not a prime number, also known as 10,199. So I was like, oh, not prime. Okay, I need to look at a different thing. And then it it threw us right off. We're like,
It did,
oh,
yeah.
what was his longest flight? How long did that last? Howard Hughes, the titular aviator of the movie. Maybe it had something to do with Leonardo DiCaprio, and we went around and around and around until I was like, hang on, what if different releases of the movies had different runtimes? And so I looked at the IMDb stated runtime, and it states the runtime instead of 170 minutes as it haunts me to this day. 169 minutes.
Nice.
1 minute less. And if you turn that into seconds and subtract 1, you do indeed get a prime number, the one you see before you. So, man, I should update that Wikipedia page.
Oh yeah, that's blatant misinformation. Get Congress on that.
Yeah, I know. So, but after that, we thought we kind of had him. And then...
We did. And we were told earlier on that where is it? Where is it? The number that we are seeking is a product of prime factors. Well, we've got our prime factors.
Let's multiply them together.
Let's multiply them together, and we get a number that was a little bit difficult for spreadsheets to handle. But we ended up with this 16-digit number.
Big number.
Big number. Okay, so we don't know what to do with it yet. So let's move on. This stuck us for a couple of days trying to crack all this.
Oh, it really did. And now we have a number that stuck us for the longest time.
Yeah. So let's keep going. So the next thing was to complete the square, you must leave the circle. And it eventually dawned on us that the thing that we had right at the very start, the profile picture, which is normally a circle on YouTube, but is in fact a square, so leaving the circle is this. Okay, and the hidden message was to add 4 to the resulting product. So we take this number, and it becomes this number. And you'll notice I've inserted a giant screenshot of the number here, because Excel just refuses to cooperate with a number that big. Every time I change this digit to 4, it just says, nope, we like 0.
No, 0 is fine. You can leave it.
So, and that almost caught us as well, because we initially just did the multiplication of all of these in Excel. We just, multiplied them together as you normally would in a spreadsheet, but the number's actually too big for it to handle. It rounds it. So we needed to be a little bit careful with how we computed that product. So here's our number. Now
what do we do with it?
To complete the cube, you're going to have to restore what I have said, which was incredible before. Here began the longest head-scratching period. We tried so many things.
We had no idea.
We thought that what I have said, which was incredible before, was a reference to previous Macay Supremacies, right? Because we called that incredible. And so we thought, okay, let's look for the initials of all the first sentences. That didn't get us anywhere. We tried looking for words either side of a misspelling. Didn't get us anywhere. Looking for words before a comma. Likewise, nowhere. Looking for the nth word of each comment. That didn't get us anywhere. We tried so many variations to try to get a message out of these comments. But we just couldn't do it. I tried a lot of different things by taking this number and applying it in certain creative ways. So I'll show you some of the things that I tried. So I thought, okay, let's take the 7th comment and the 6th word, and then the 10th comment and the 4th word. And I tried stringing that together. Didn't produce anything. I I did so many things with this damn number and these damn comments, and we just couldn't get meaning out of it. Now, the other thing that we did think of was that it says to complete the cube. Now, all of these have had meaning, right? The dots, the line, the square, the circle. So we thought cube. Hey, we did a cube video with Macay.
Which is wild, because we've never done a square video before.
So I went back and checked the cube video that we did with Macay, thinking that he'd left a clue in the comment. And he hadn't. There was nothing to be seen there. I checked the intro and outro to see if his first and last remarks had some clues. Nothing there. So I kind of left that, and we eventually ran into a dead end. We didn't know what to do here.
Completely stumped.
So we asked for a hint. We told him what we'd gathered so far, and we got nudged to, hey, go take a look at that cube video again. And so
we were like, okay.
So now if we read this a little more literally, we're looking for what was said incredible before.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, let's go have a look for incredible. So here's our video. Now let me show you a magic trick that we use a fair amount over here. If you click this button, you can get the transcript of the video. So this is YouTube's transcription of everything that was said. And then let's search for incredible. Okay, so there are 5 instances of the word incredible in this video. This one was said by Adrian, so we'll skip that one. Because the clue told us that it was Macay that said it. This one was said by one of us as well, so we can skip that. This was Macay. Incredible use of manner there. So what does incredible come before? Use or use, depending on how you pronounce it. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. This one, also one of us. This last one was Macay. Incredible key to winning. So the words after incredible are use, key.
Now that's wild. So, that's nuts. And
Yes.
you are now obliged to tell us, Macay, if you had planned that or if you sort of reverse engineered it, that you looked for those words and they happened to appear before the word incredible both times, so you use that, or you had it planned, which is insane.
We invited you out of the goodness of our hearts onto our humble channel. And he comes in here with nefarious purposes.
The most nefarious.
This is not on.
But as you can see, it was very on for Macay.
So here's our next clue. Use key.
This one sent us once again.
Now let me tell you I was trying to complete one of my final papers for my masters when we got this far, and I just got completely derailed off the paper. Key. Oh, okay. So this number is a cryptographic key, and it's 16 digits long. It's a 16-digit key. But what do we apply it to?
Yeah.
Normally to solve a cryptographic puzzle or code, you get a bunch of gobbledygook that you then apply the cipher to, and it spits out the real message. But there's just normal English and Shakespeare and poop emojis. What do we apply the cipher to? And so I tried just applying it to the raw comments in case Macay is some kind of super genius and had turned regular text into regular text. That, of course, didn't work. I tried taking the initials of every word in the comments and putting that string of gobbledygook together and translating that using various methods. I'm not a cryptography expert, though, so I was doing a lot of Googling to to try to fill in the gaps in my knowledge. That didn't work. We knew that this was a key.
Use key.
Just use the key. But just couldn't figure out what to apply it to. Yeah, got very stuck here again. Until we got a hint to... Well, actually, first we were told... First hint we were given was the key is both physical and non-physical.
It's a magic key.
Physical key? What? What are you talking about?
He sent actual real data to us in the mail.
I'm ready for that. I'm ready for just something to show up on my desk. He's suddenly figured out. It's probably a good thing I just moved house. Now he can't find me anymore. And then after one more clue, we eventually got the idea that the key refers to physical keys, as in of a keyboard. Perhaps a piano, perhaps a computer keyboard.
Spooky.
Okay. This gets us somewhere. For the final step, I finally, after hours of banging my head against a wall trying to figure this out, I finally cracked it. I went back to the video that Macay recorded before, and I pressed these keys, which, as you might know from YouTube, skips to certain parts of the video. So when you go to that video and you press these keys in this order, you get this.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you.
It's not like us. It's unlike us. I don't know what it wants, or if it wants, but it'll grow until it encompasses everything. Our bodies and our minds will be fragmented into their smallest parts until not one part remains. Annihilation.